City of Stevens Point Tourism Commission meeting, recorded December 16, 2020.
We'll call the December 16th Tourism Commission meeting to order here. Looks like we're missing Alva and Sedlak. So we do have a quorum. So item number 2, approval of the July 21st, 2020 meeting minutes.
You're on mute again, John.
I'm not hearing anybody else. Is anybody speaking?
I'm here.
Okay. So a motion for number 2, approval of the July 21st.
Motion to approve.
A second? Mr. Disher here.
He's on mute, it looks like.
Mike?
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I can't, I can see you, but I can't. Okay, great. Okay, I'm here.
All right. We need a motion. Carrie made a motion. We need a second to approve the July 21st meeting minutes.
First of all, do we have enough people here?
Yes, we do have a quorum.
Okay, great.
Mr.
So
Oliva will be joining us shortly and Michelle won't be here.
Okay, so moved.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item number 3 is the discussion of the 2021 grant applications and the finances. I guess I'll turn it over to Corey. You can go over and let us know what we have and what you're projecting for us to deal with here, finances.
Yeah, so the bottom line is, based on my projections, it looks like you have about 60,000 to work with in terms of what could be available for grants. Now, one thing to note for 2021, we're not really projecting that balance to grow at this point. Of course, it'll depend on sort of how things evolve. So overall, what we're looking at is a total of about $60,000 to last really the next 2 years. In terms of, you know, what we could award this year and next year. So in general, as far as room tax revenue, obviously room tax revenue is down with the COVID-19 pandemic. For the second quarter of 2020, so that would have been the lockdown period of April to June, the room tax collections were 33.9% of what they were last year. For the third quarter, so that would be July to September, it did improve a little bit to 44.4% of last year's number. So of course, we're hoping that that will continue and continue to improve a little bit. But right now we're looking at room tax collections being about half of what they normally would be. Going into 2021, kind of assuming that the beginning of 2021 might still be a little bit soft, and then the second half of 2021, of course, hopeful that we'll start to see some more significant improvement.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Any questions or comments from the committee members?
Just clarification. So this is that number that you gave, that is after we fulfill the obligations that we've already committed to?
Yes, that's correct.
Corey, what was that number? 66?
60,000.
Okay,
So,
All right.
and
what I
of
thought.
course, that does depend on how room tax revenues trend. So, certainly if things, if the recovery is a little bit faster in terms of room tax collections, then, you'd have more money to work with.
Yeah,
So,
understand.
Okay.
mhm.
All right, so being no other questions, the way I listed this was to go through each individual application and decide from there. I guess with the consideration that the procedure is to choose organizations that will put heads in beds is our #1 priority, is what we're looking at. We do have good applications, a lot of good programs that are looking for money. I guess my one feeling is, again, we really don't know where we're going for 2021 and what the future brings with us. So I guess with that thought, if we did award all these applications, we were at about $48,000. So I'm kind of fearful myself of giving all the money away, not knowing what 2021 is going to bring us with our commitments that we have. So anyway, with that, other questions? We'll start with the #1 for the sculpture park. Item.
Question regarding this proposal. Is this something that is going to be year round, or is it just a couple of days, or the lighting of the, can you tell me that? I didn't notice where they said how long it was going to stay on, or did I miss something?
My impression was it was just a few days, only because they mentioned sales of beverages, and it
Okay.
sounded like an event to me, but
Yeah. So I don't think with relative to this, how nice it is, that it's really going to put any heads in our beds.
Correct. They commented about how many people go through the park yearly and everything, but not per se for this.
Right. Also in their numbers, when they talk about the number of people who go through the park, they don't differentiate between people who come here just to see the park or people from the city who go through there all the time.
Correct. Okay.
So once again, I'm the heads in beds is our goal. I just don't know, especially with the funding limitations that we have, that this is something that would meet our criteria.
I guess I would tend to agree on that.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to reject this one, or?
I think that's how we've done in the past.
Okay, I would move that we reject because of the fact it doesn't put any heads in beds.
John, just real careful or quickly before we go. So did you move on to item #4 then? Or are you taking them in order?
Yes, I'm doing
Okay.
#1. And
All
we'll
right,
make
so-
a motion. You think that's the best way for each
Yeah.
one?
Correct. I would take them in order and just do a action on each agenda item.
Okay.
All right. So motion was by Mike.
I'll second. I'll second
Carrie.
that motion.
Jim, you're here.
Jim, you're on mute.
I hooked things back up. I was tearing things down this morning because I'm moving to Plover. And so.
Okay,
Did you hear our motion and discussion?
Yes, I did.
All right. So it's been had a motion by Mr. Disher and Carrie as a second. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
Was there one against? Or the all?
All four of them, yeah,
Okay.
unanimous.
All right. Item #5, Central Wisconsin Community Theater, no more singing in the rain. They're requesting $5,750 for roof repair and replacement.
Is this part of overhead and maintenance? And I see they even have something in there for some marketing expenses.
Yeah, I
too.
saw that too. I
Yeah,
think
So
that would be.
I'm wondering if this doesn't meet our criteria again.
I agree with you. Maintenance and capital items were something we're not allowing.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just curious, is this what building is this? Is this do they own this?
I think this is the one on Minnesota Avenue
Okay,
because their performances are out of Century Theater,
mhm.
but their rehearsals and everything are out of the building complex on Minnesota.
Okay.
I think you're right.
I guess, yeah, my concern that we're not, these budgeting capital items and normal up to day-to-day operations, this is not what this is used for. So, all right, can I have a motion for rejection?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 for Schmeekli Reserve, accessible fishing pier and lake loop trail. They're requesting $35,000. Again, one part is to construct and update the lake loop trail with resurfacing with crushed granite. My concern, again, that's normal maintenance, I would assume, which would be the reason we didn't approve the other one. As far as the fishing pier, that's a new item. I guess any comments? What is Schmeekli Reserve part of the green circle? Are we putting people's heads in beds with that item?
I would say that we probably are not putting anybody's heads in beds with a fishing pier at Schmeekli. I mean, it's a great project.
It's a great project, but it
Doesn't meet our criteria. And I'm also a little bit concerned that I'd like to see when people say we want some help from you, not all of the help from you. And I don't see the Schmeekli Reserve putting any funds into that project. Are they?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, they are. I apologize.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
I'm sorry. But it doesn't meet the heads and beds portion of our.
I think it has a great draw locally. I just don't see this drawing people in necessarily for this project because, from outside of the community.
Right.
I
So I
agree.
struggle with this one too.
Okay.
Fortunately.
Any other comments or questions? Being none, can I have a motion for rejection, please?
I'll motion to reject this proposal.
A second?
Second. Disher.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion possible action from the Stevens Point Fire Department for a training site.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
thought this one very directly meets our criteria
Oh, God, yeah.
in terms of heads and beds.
Yep.
I agree. I think it's a great project. It's one of those projects that we kind of look for,
John,
Yes.
one thing I just wanted to make note on this application is that it's an ask over 4 years. The committee did talk about that a little bit last year, about multiple years. I just wanted to make sure that you guys call note to their budget page. It's $2,500 for 4 years. And that would be up to the discretion of the committee.
JB, you're with us. You want to answer or any comments about it?
Sure. The reason we went and we looked at that was exactly what we talked about here is putting heads in beds. So everyone on the committee is aware. We just signed a 5-year agreement with DCI, Department of Criminal Investigation, and we are going to be hosting the first ever state of Wisconsin basic fire investigation certification courses here in Stevens Point. And what these funds will be going towards is our burn cells. And what we are looking to do with our training site is we obviously now have the land and have the ability to improve the site. But with this additional funding each year, we plan on building each year with that $2,500 additional training equipment and projects and props to bring additional personnel or people to the Stevens Point area as a regional training site. Initially with the first class that we planned on hosting here in Stevens Point this year, It got canceled, obviously, due to COVID, but there was a 24-person limit. After opening up the course, we had over 142 applicants within a few weeks. And that course, so everyone knows, is 7 days long. So they're going to be staying here in Stevens Point for 4 days the first week. They'll go home for a 3-day weekend, and then they would come back for 3 additional days, and they would be staying right here in Stevens Point.
I have a question for you. Are there other facilities like this in the state, and how many?
There are some other facilities in the state of Wisconsin. As far as regionally or in this area, there are absolutely none. If we were to look at Fox Valley Technical College, we have it's a $53 million facility, and they have 3, 4, 5 of them. We're looking to put 6 right here regionally in the center part of the state.
Thank you.
So I know Madison has a larger training, regional training site. Milwaukee partners with the Milwaukee Fire Department to build a training site like this. And the other training site that I'm aware of right now in the state that has something like this is Northern Technical College up in Merrill. And what we're trying to do is mirror what Merrill actually has with the building of their city and their technical training props here in central Wisconsin. And we're trying to partner with multiple agencies to accomplish that.
Very good, thanks.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Yeah, just when it comes to our, some of these other pledge or remaining pledges, I'm just wondering how many more years we have left of some of those, just so we don't overextend ourselves in terms of these, extended year projects. I don't know, Corey, maybe you can speak to that.
Do you have that in front of you, Corey?
Yeah, so the number that I gave you of the 60,000, that did subtract out those outstanding pledges already.
Yeah.
So on the sheet that I put together, basically that 60,000 that you have available is after subtracting the pledges that are currently outstanding.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're curious on the years, it
Yeah.
looks like after 2020's payment, there'd be 3 for the Zamboni yet for the Portage County Youth on Ice, and then the athletic turf field after 2021, or I should say after 2020, there'd be 7. So after the 21 year, so the budget sheet that Corey has, 2 payments to the Zamboni and 6 for the athletic turf.
Okay, so those numbers are really spread out over
Yeah.
a number of years. Okay.
I think it's a great project. I really do. I think it fits financially. I unless anybody has any other questions, I'd make a motion. We approve this.
One question,
Okay.
JB, did the city approve that for capital for this year?
Yes, so the city has approved capital funding for our training site for 2021. We have been awarded $100,000 towards improvements at the site.
And the site is entirely in the city of Stevens Point, correct?
Correct. The site is located on Whiting Avenue.
Is that the city site you're using or the,
Yes.
okay,
So we have been allocated a certain amount of land to be able to turn that into a regional training site for us.
I guess one comment I have as far as if this does not come to happen and we are going over 4 years, I guess I would like to add to that motion that if the monies are not used for that, they'd be refunded back to the Tourism Commission. I think we've added that to these other things where we spread them out.
Good idea.
Yep.
So,
And I have no problems with that at all.
okay, so we're looking for 2,500 a year for 4 years.
Correct.
So 10 grand. All right. Any other questions from anybody? Otherwise, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, number 8 is the Standing Rocks Trail Signs and Improvement.
You know what? Somebody should tell them that they can't.
I know, I'm like,
It's
don't we get
every
this every
year.
time?
We do.
We can't do it. I
Every
love the
year.
project,
Not
but
in the
It's, and it's probably the single most hands down, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why this keeps getting,
I'll try giving them a call again and talk to them
Okay.
about it and see.
You know what? If we get something like this from them again or another group, wouldn't it behoove us for perhaps Dan's office to say, you know what, doesn't qualify because it's not in the city,
Yeah, we can
right,
do
Dan?
that.
I mean, it's not a big deal saying no here, but I'm just saying it might make their lives a whole lot easier. They may be anticipating some money, but we should just say you don't qualify. You're not in the city.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help if that's what the committee would like me to do for screening.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah,
or-
I would
Yeah.
think that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
I mean,
And it's, I saw they're asking, I think from Community Foundation and then from CVB, those are perfect places to
Right.
provide funding for this, but just, we're not.
And Dan, if you run into one that's questionable for you, you can always bring it to the committee, but if it's obvious, I think your office could just say it doesn't qualify.
the other possibilities, educational aspect is saying the monies that we're distributing have all come from hotels and motels within the city limits of Stevens Point. And so that the Plover hotels do not contribute to this. So
Right.
even though, you may be bringing people into the community, they could possibly be staying in Plover or whatever, and we just can't take this money and put it outside of the city limits.
Great idea.
Very good. Thank you. All right, can we have a motion to reject that? I think we should follow the same protocol.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item number 9, discussion for grant application for the UWSP Museum of Natural History Sandy Science Station. Jenna, are you representing them? Would you like to?
That is correct. Hi, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So question for you, Jenna, is it Jenna?
Yep.
Would visitors come to Stevens Point to specifically see that exhibit? And how many people would you suspect actually would stay overnight because of that exhibit?
So there are a few factors coming into this. I actually have a map for you to show you visiting schools that have come to us. I don't know if I can share my screen, but we actually have a wide range of schools that do come to our town and visit our museum all over Wisconsin, not just central Wisconsin, although that is a big part of our visiting school groups. But we do have all around the state, schools have visited us. And so that one gets other people to know about our museum. And so some of the visiting school groups, I've seen parents come back and visit us before. We also have visiting family members from the campus community that do stay over a weekend, because we have our campus has a family weekend as well as a siblings weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So they would have to stay overnight as well. And the university doesn't have accommodations for all family members. So that would certainly attract some attention there. We've also had grandparents stay in town for hanging out with their kids that are in town. Yeah, so I would think this would attract some people, because it's kind of a unique exhibit. We are the only publicly available augmented reality sand table in central Wisconsin. There is a map that shows you other areas that have augmented reality sand tables, but we're the only publicly available one that I'm aware of in our region. And it is by far our most attracted exhibit that we have. All school groups love it. Anybody who comes in just gravitates straight towards it because it's colorful, it has sand. What's not to like? So to expand it would be great for us to also include in other areas of our museum. So paleontology would be part of it, as well as just a giant sandbox for an indoor activity, because indoor activities in Wisconsin are sometimes hard to come by. So especially during the winter time.
One other question. I noticed that it's $2,566 and a couple of pennies. I noticed that that's your total. That's your total expense, and you're asking for 100% from us. Is the university chipping in at all, or is the Museum of Natural History chipping in at all, or is there anybody else that would be interested in chipping in?
So this was our first source of money for the project. And we're currently in kind of a tumultuous time. The university is obviously pretty strict on budget, and we're not high on the totem pole because we're not related to academics directly. We're not a class, we're not faculty. The museum is kind of separated. We're within the College of Letters and Science, but we're separated from all of there's 4 main colleges. They just restructured the college. There's 4 main departments within it, but we are separated from that. So we're kind of our own thing. So there's no money for us through the university.
Yeah.
They don't have any room to do anything like this, especially with, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I think it just came out in the news that Albertson Hall is getting renovated. So we're actually in the process of moving from where we currently are in the library to the old science building where the UWSP planetarium is. So we're actually going to be right underneath them. And so it's kind of a perfect time to reimagine what we want this new space to look like. And so if it doesn't get approved today, this kind of is in our back pocket for the future. So we are in the process of creating a friends group for the museum, which we're starting this week and starting in the next coming months to get support from that. We're approaching our advisory board members, but those are really the only streams of money that we've explored so far.
I guess I see the university being a real asset and to this community. And are people going to come to the museum specifically and spend the night at a hotel? Probably not. But if people are coming to see their students, their children, and something for them to do, I think it's a good use of funds.
Well, and they do point out in here, point number 3, they're estimating 1,450 nights every year that people stay overnight for this.
I think I can see, I don't know we're going to get 1,450 nights in a hotel room over that. I can see though that there is some revenue that goes to restaurants and the like. I'd like to see them also pursue their other revenue streams that they're just talking about. So I would be more than happy to issue a partial funding contingent upon them raising the rest of the money through their friends of the museum. Perhaps $500 or $1,000. I guess the committee can discuss that, and it would be contingent upon them raising the rest of the money.
How about
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I said I think I could get on board with that. I'd be more apt to do about, I think I'd be apt to do about 50% of their ask.
I think I go along with Carrie on that, about 50%.
Okay. All right.
All right. Any other questions or? All right. All right. Can we do a motion for 50% of the 2,566?
But before you make
Contingent.
this motion, the 50% is $1,283.01. Can we make it just an even?
Yeah, even. Yes. No, I agree. So if they come up with $1,283,
Absolutely not. Money's tight.
and you come up with that up first, and we'll match it with you.
Contingent, yeah. The motion would be contingent upon them raising the other half.
Correct. All right. Mike, you made a motion, or Carrie, who was it?
It's your turn, Carrie.
Carrie did.
Oh, I guess, okay, I'll make that motion.
All right, a second.
I second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Can I ask one other question of Jenna? And I know this is after the fact, but I see a lot of things here that I believe are possibly consumables. Is there a consumable part to this display?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, I mean, children's paleontology tools for the sandbox. Don't those wear out? Don't those have to be replaced? Are you projecting future that you can replace these things and have some funding for that as well?
Yeah, so down the line, this is all part of our bigger plan for moving, which we don't have any funding for currently, because we have to move out of Albertson Hall of May of 2022. So this is kind of what we're working on now is our move plan. But we're also creating a financial plan for the future. Those sorts of things would be within our means to replace. It's not something that we would have to ask you guys money for, because that kind of thing, it's not super costly. And we have some funds available to us, but it's not that those kinds of things we can replace.
Okay, because I'm just wanting to say that if you've noticed other discussions we've had, maintenance type of things we don't fund.
Right.
Right.
Very good.
John, if I may, I have a
Yes.
quick thing. You know that last year or 2 years ago, this committee voted to help the softball association put turf on their ball fields.
Yes.
Stevens Point softball is working with, believe it or not, Plover Whiting Youth Fast Pitch, and we're going to be hosting part of about a 90-team state tournament in July. It's 90 teams. They're called Junior Olympic Girls. I believe our part of the tournament is 12 and under or 10 and under or something like that. But so just to let you know that project will start showing some return and will lead to the promises we made about bringing in some people to stay in hotels with softball tournaments and things. So I just wanted the committee to know that.
Very good. Will that be Xenoff and what other fields in Stevens
I guess,
Point?
from what I understand, they're going to be playing in Plover Fields and at Xenoff Park because of the turf and 3 diamonds all in one spot and everything else. So with 90 teams, that's a whole lot of people.
Is this a women's tournament you said?
It's called a Junior Olympic. It's young people, girls 12 and under, I believe. Maybe we may have the 10 and under tournament, but
okay.
There's going to be
Thank you
90
very
teams
much.
in the area. And, you can count on, for that thing, about 40 people per team.
Okay. So that'll be great. And that's scheduled for when this summer?
I think it's July 9th or the second week, the weekend after the 4th.
Okay.
And hopefully COVID will be done, and hopefully our common council will allow us to bring people in from out of town to use our athletic fields.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. You guys have a nice Christmas and holidays.
Videos of these meetings are available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.